Now let's talk about securing the future of the nation as the United Nations, in partnership with the Nigerian government, the UK International Development Agency and Tropical General Investment Group, has convened a two-day conference in Lagos on securing futures, market-based solutions for internal displacement. The event highlights the market-driven approaches that would support communities affected by displacement across the country. Our lead correspondent, Joshua Marai, is live, or rather, I take that again, Bernard Akede, forgive me, is live at the venue of the conference to join us now to give us some of the key takeaway from today's event. Bernard, I called you Joshua there for a second. Forgive me. Talk to me. What are the key discussions so far, and what solutions are being proposed for internally displaced persons?
All right. Thank you so much for having me, Judith. And it's okay if you call me Joshua. I saw Joshua earlier, very charmingly dressed, so it's a compliment. So basically, like you introduced, it's the market-based solutions for internal displacement. And largely, the conversation surrounds seeing internally displaced persons not as liabilities, but as assets waiting to be harnessed or waiting to be tapped. There's been discussions and conversations as to how the private sector can actually invest in internally displaced persons. Also, there's been conversations around how, the authorities and the private sector as well should not just look at internally displaced persons from the place of people who have been displaced based on insurgency, particularly from the northeast, northwest, and north central. Here at New Central, we've been able to establish the fact that people are displaced from different parts of the country and for different reasons. And these conversations were equally raised here. Most recently, we've had the displacement based on demolitions, like the one we've seen in Makoko. So there have been people who have also added their voices to the conversation, stating that these other persons should equally be added to the list of internally displaced persons. Earlier we had Iya, who's a close friend to the family at New Central. She spoke, basically about how data gathering has also been an issue when it comes to handling conversations concerning internally displaced persons. There have not been accurate data gathering concerning that, and then we had the minister respond to her question. That's the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, and he talked about the challenges in gathering such data. But by and large, the conversation still continues. Now the guests are breaking into groups, and that's the reason why it's been a bit challenging to pick them, one-on-one and have a conversation. But we're hoping that when it comes to the press briefing session, we'll be able to have a proper conversation with the guests and the dignitaries. We're equally expecting the Honorable Minister of Defense, that's retired General Christopher Musa, who's representing the Vice President. We hope that he will be able to speak more on how, insecurity can be curbed and how internally displaced persons basically can be seen as assets rather than liabilities to the country.
Well, Bernard, I must say thank you for that update. Well, it's day one, isn't it? And let's see how this will play out as well tomorrow. Two-day event there. Very important discussions being had about the IDP. And also, I got to say, Joshua is also beating you as regarding wardrobe. Bernard Akede, they are correspondent live from Lagos, lead correspondent for New Central.